Hey, hi, and howdy, sweet friends. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Courtney, and I do food and kitchen style content here on YouTube. That is weekly grocery hauls and what's for dinner style videos. So if that's something you're into, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around. This week I have 3 more recipes to share with you guys, and they are so simple, so budget friendly, and so easy. I've been using up items from my fridge and freezer. However, this week my husband smoked a pork roast for us, so I'm using that for 2 of these meals. Pork roasts are so economical. I can usually find them on sale for like 97 cents a pound. You could smoke them, you can bake them, you can put them in your pressure cooker. It's a ton of meat and you can use it for lots of different things. Today, we're going to make some smothered burritos because they're good. I've got flour tortillas, and on them, I am putting some beans. You don't have to do that. I was just really in the mood for refried beans. So I put some in there, and then I added some of the pork. I just kind of cubed it up to make it easy to work with. I added some green sauce. You can use green or red enchilada sauce. I'm using some homemade sauce. It's super easy to make. If you guys are interested in that recipe, let me know, and I will be more than happy to film it and share it with you. It's so easy. I just rolled everything up burrito style in a flour tortilla. I'm using the big ones, the burrito size, and I'm only going to make 4 of these because this is just dinner and lunch for my husband and myself. No one else was eating these this particular day. All the kids were going in different directions. So I just needed to make a couple, but man, these were so good. And the last one I'm going to make is just going to be bean and cheese. And that one's for me because I was just craving a simple smothered bean and cheese burrito on this particular day. The pork was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but bean and cheese burritos have my heart. They're so good. I did them the same way. I just didn't put any pork on there. And then I put toothpicks in that burrito so I would know which one had no meat in it. Also, if you're baking dishes shallow, those toothpicks will help keep the foil from sticking to your food. So it did help with that too. I topped the burritos with a little bit more of my green sauce, did some cheese, and I baked them, and that was all she wrote. It's so easy to make, but it's really good. And it's very filling. If you're into, like fast food, Mexican food, it's a lot like that. So if you like that, you'll like this. And like I said, you can use red sauce or green sauce, totally up to you, whatever you like. That's what it looks like. And I just served it with a small salad on the side. It was super simple, but super good and super filling. And like I said, it was just really good and really easy. All right. On to our next recipe. This is, again, using some of that pulled pork, and we're just making a breakfast hash. I love doing this when I have leftover brisket as well. It's so good. This is actually inspired by the breakfast that I get when we go to Rosa's. If you don't know, we do live in Texas, and Rosa's is, it started out as a tortilla factory, and they've evolved into like one of the most popular Mexican food chains in the state. So good. And they have these breakfast bowls that they put their beef fajita meat in. They're incredible. So this is just a kind of a play on that. I started off by sauteing some potatoes. I didn't do anything special to them. I just cubed them up, put them in a pan with some oil. I'm using garlic oil. If you don't have garlic oil, you might want to throw some garlic powder in there. And I just seasoned them with salt and pepper. Once they had started to cook and get crispy, I went ahead and added in 1 whole diced up poblano pepper. If you want it spicier, use jalapenos. My kids were going to eat this, so I was trying to keep it a little less spicy. And then I added in some onion. I had sliced up onions for sandwiches again over the weekend, so I just used those sliced onions, tossed them right in there. Super simple. Another thing I personally would have enjoyed is throwing some tomatoes in. That's what Rosa's does, but my husband doesn't like that, so I skipped that step for this dinner. Once all the veggies and the potatoes and everything kind of had a chance to cook all the way through and soften, I added some of my pork in there. Again, it's just cubed pork, nothing fancy. And I just kind of let everything heat all the way through. Super easy to do, super easy to make. I seasoned everything with some salt and pepper. Again, if you don't have garlic oil, I would definitely recommend throwing in some garlic powder just for a little bit of added flavor. Potatoes can be so bland, You want to make sure that you add plenty of stuff in there to season them so they have a really nice flavor. You can do scrambled eggs with this if you want, but I opted to do fried eggs for this particular night just because I wanted to do something different. So once this was cooked, I just set it to the side and fried a couple of eggs. I'm also going to put a layer of refried beans on the bottom of the plate underneath my breakfast hash because that's what Rosa's does with their breakfast bowls. And I actually stopped at Rosa's and got the beans and the guacamole for this on this particular day because they were just on my mind. But it was so easy. It's great for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Finally, we're going to make a pad thai of sorts. I'm going to link an actual recipe for pad thai below, but I'm just kind of like riffing on it a little bit with what I have and things I want to use up. So I started off with some chili garlic sauce. This is not the sriracha brand, it's a different one, but you could use sriracha. It's pretty much the same thing. I added in about 1.5 tablespoons of that. You can do more or less depending on your desire for heat. I then added in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, about 1 teaspoon of fish sauce, and I only had a little bit of oyster sauce left in this container, about 1 tablespoon or so. So I added some water in there and gave it a good shake just to get all of it out. To that, I also added some lime juice. Lemon and lime are used a lot in Thai food. It's a really fresh flavor, and I love it. But if you don't have any, you could always substitute like some rice vinegar and it would be fine. The recipes didn't call for gochujang, but I had some and I thought, why not? We're already here. It's going to be delicious. So I threw some in. And then finally some honey. Most recipes call for cane sugar, which I just have regular sugar on hand, but I'm a big fan of honey in dishes like this. So I just threw in about 1 tablespoon or so and gave everything a really nice stir. Make sure you give it a good taste. You may decide it needs more sweet or more salt or more acidity. So just give it a really good taste. Then I got started on our protein. For this dinner, I'm using shrimp, which I know I said budget friendly, and sometimes people comment on that, but I can get shrimp on sale for like $5 a pound. So to me, in today's economy, that's not a bad deal. Sometimes I can get them for less than that. It really just depends. But you could also use chicken or anything else that you have on hand. It's fine. You could even do tofu and not put any meat in there. It's totally up to you. I'm going to double the amount of shrimp that's going in here because halfway through cooking, I discovered everybody was going to be eating this. Originally, I thought it was just for my husband and myself, but that's okay. So I started off with these shrimp and I seasoned them with salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and they're slightly frozen, which is why it started off with those. I gave them a few extra minutes to cook before I added in my thawed shrimp. I peeled and deveined everything, and it's just seasoned with garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And I did put a little bit of sesame oil into the pan for these to kind of cook in. It doesn't take very long to cook shrimp. They are pretty quick, and you definitely don't want to overcook them because they can get rubbery and tough. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them, knowing that I had like some that were semi-frozen and some that were not. There's a distinct possibility, and I knew that some of them would cook faster than others. So I was very prepared to pull some of the shrimp out if the need did arise for that, which it did. And I just was careful to cook these, until they were done to my desired doneness. You do need to flip them over periodically just to make sure that everybody gets contact with the pan. But as you can see, I'm kind of sorting them around and pulling out ones I see are done all the way and flipping over ones I think need another 30 to 45 seconds. Again, they're super quick cooking. It does not take long at all. And I'm going to say, my people commented on how good that shrimp was, and it was just salt, pepper, and garlic powder. But all of them were like, oh my gosh, the shrimp is so good. So heads up. I mean, that was some good shrimp. Next, I took a bag of frozen veggies that I thawed. I just tossed them on my counter for like 3 hours. So they thawed on their own, but you can do it in the microwave. Totally up to you. I just tossed them right on into that skillet with the leftover oil and shrimp flavor. And then I poured a little bit of garlic oil on top of them. You could use just regular oil with some minced garlic or garlic powder. Totally up to you. And then I have a little bit of kimchi left in my fridge, and I thought, why not? It wasn't a lot, so I just added it right on in here, which I'm going to tell you now was a fantastic call. It was so good. You can use any kind of veggies you want, by the way. It doesn't have to be frozen. If you wanted to use fresh broccoli or something, go for it. Give it a good saute. I'm serving it with those egg rolls there. We really like those veggie egg rolls from H-E-B. I just tossed them right in the air fryer. Now that I've given our veggies and our kimchi a couple of minutes to kind of heat through and come together, I'm using udon noodles. Pad Thai is made with a number of different noodles when I look at recipes, but I love a good udon noodle. So does my husband. It's one of our favorites. So I just put the packets in there and I added our sauce right over the top. And these look like they're stuck together, and it's because they are. It took me a little while to figure out how to work with udon noodles because I was like, man, I just break them every time I mess with them and they're just bits of noodle. You kind of have to give them a couple of minutes in the sauce to steam. So as you can see, I'm tossing the veggies in the sauce all over the noodles, and as they steam in that sauce, they just on their own start to break apart and turn into the noodles that we all know and love when we go eat at places like Genghis Grill. It just takes a little bit of time. Really, I think I fast forwarded this obviously, but I think it was about 3 minutes in total. Doesn't take long at all. And that was it. I just served this on a plate with those shrimp on top and an egg roll on the side. And this was such a good dinner. So flavorful. I loved it. My family loved it. It was just a hit with everyone. So definitely give this one a try. I'll link the original pad thai recipe down below so you guys can use that or just go by what I did. That's all I have this week. 3 simple recipes. I'll have some more next week because we are cooking a brisket and I plan to use the brisket for all the recipes. So I hope to see you guys there. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you guys soon. Bye.